Hi, my name is Will Lee, and I will be talking about the criminal insurgency in Southeast Asia. So, in Southeast Asia, there's a massive overlap of terrorism, insurgency, and crime. And this is mainly due to the widespread poverty in the area and ineffective government that is filled with corruption. In Southeast Asia, there's a massive inability of the state to deliver basic needs, and this represents a failure to provide stability and security for the population. This leads to a breakdown in the perceived legitimacy of the government, and subsequently leads to an increase in violence, insurgency efforts to topple the government, and crime, and that come from a marginalized population that feels underrepresented and underserved by the government. The absence of a strong state government allows insurgencies to take over the role of a governing authority and out-administer the governments that they displace. And this can be seen in instances where insurgencies will provide basic services like tax collection, judicial services, and the taking on of small development projects. The insurgencies often need a way to fund their activities, and they do this mainly through illegal activities. One of the biggest sources of revenue for them is the drug and narcotics trade. Pakistan is seen as a massive processing and transit point for Afghan opium headed to European markets, and India is seen as a huge transit point for Pakistani product. Burma and India both trade in opium, barbiturates, and amphetamines, and in all the above cases, the presence of drugs often coincides with the presence of armed activity. A major driver of the drug trade in Southeast Asia is the economic destituity that reigns in the area, where an Afghan farmer can earn 8 times growing opium versus growing the same amount of wheat. Another source of funding that insurgencies use is human trafficking, because trafficking is often seen as a low risk and high reward business where there's low prosecution and conviction rates. A survey of 412 brothel owners saw that 34% never faced prosecution and 53% avoided arrest by bribing the police. Another 30% reporting that the police actually cooperated in the trafficking operations. Southeast Asia sees a huge backlog of judicial delays. Of more than 1 million criminal cases that are pending, over 900,000 are more than a year old. This, coupled with the fact that poverty leads to an increase in crime, enables an open space in the population for insurgencies to out-administer the government and strengthen their own cause as they take on the role of a government that doesn't address local grievances and correct these grievances in place of the state government. The lack of government addressment of social and economic grievances leads to an intersection of crime, terrorism, and insurgency. The connection between crime and terrorism is seen in activities such as kidnapping, extortion, illegal financing activities, and organized crime such as trafficking in narcotics. There's a connection between insurgency and crime in the weapons trade, the drugs trade, and the financing and carrying out of violent activity throughout the region. To decrease all three of these activities, crime, terrorism, and insurgency, the governments of Southeast Asia need to seek to provide services, they need to seek to provide justice, and they need to enable popular and public participation. This will lead to an increase in the perceived legitimacy of the government and seek to decrease the legitimacy that the insurgencies seek to provide to the population. The governments need to break the trust deficit that exists between them and the people, and the trust deficit between the neighboring states. And only when this happens will the links between crime, terrorism, and insurgency in Southeast Asia be broken.